Hello and welcome everyone. And I hope you've all had a great few days. And I am so happy to know that you have joined me today for this great topic that we will be covering today. I wanted to share actually with everyone that success is really not given to us. Some of us may like to think it is. It's in some sort of a way, we all have to go through something to achieve it. One of the things that I'd like to touch upon before I introduce you to my guests is, do we decide exactly what it is that we want and where we want to go? Do we set a deadline? Do we make a plan to get there? Do we take actions for our plans? Do we do something about it? Do we move every day forward towards our wish or goal? Do we resolve in advance what we will persist until we succeed? That other thing that we always have at the back of our mind is, do we give up? Without further ado, I'd like to take you over to a few amazing people who will share their views and thoughts and give us some insight about their journeys of failures and successes, and also about the different steps and the realities that we face and some goals and perceptions. I'd like to take you over to Dr. Sanawar Choudhury, who is also known as Professor. I can say lots of many names. We know him as a doctor of philosophy, but also he has a variety of backgrounds, from accountancy to business planning and analysis. I can go on, but I'd like to welcome Professor Sanawar Choudhury onto my show, and then we can ask Professor himself to tell us a little bit about what he does. So welcome, Professor Sanawar.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Great to be on your show.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for joining me. And my next guest, well, what can I say? His name is M.A.AHAD, and he is not only a mission awareness individual where, lots of people's lives, have been made an impact on and a difference in various positive ways, but also he's a businessman who some of us are very familiar with, the Millennium Balti, based in Leamington Spa, and he is also a member of Leaders Council in that area. But again, I will allow Ahad to give us and explore on what he does. But I'd like to welcome Ahad on our show. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum to everyone, and welcome to this amazing show. And look forward to all sharing ideas and experiences.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, what can I say? We have various different failures and successes that we experience as individuals. We have people around us, or people who we are surrounded around, who we may believe that, okay, oh, there goes a very successful person. But do we really know how they got there? What I'd like to ask our Professor Sanawar is, could you please walk us through your journey of the failures and successes which you may care to share with us today for the benefit of our viewers? And, how did you go about it, over the years, where you have actually paused today, or if I can say, you are still going?
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. I think your topic is one of those seminal ones which everybody asks about. how do I become successful without really knowing what success really means. It means different things to different people. For some people, it's all about money. Other people, it's about fame. Other people, it's about achieving maybe the Olympic gold medal. So it means different thing to different people, and it's multifaceted as well. So certain things may mean success for some, whereas for others, it may not be as good as others may believe. So a satisfied life is better than a successful life, because our success is measured by others, but our satisfaction is measured by our own soul, our own mind, and our own heart. So, would you believe, I came to this country when I was 9 years of age, and all I wanted to be when I went to school was to be an electrician. I loved cars. I wanted to be an auto mechanical engineer, or an electrician. So, after leaving school, I went on to do a diploma in automotive engineering, which is basically learning about cars, about how cars operated. So I know everything there is about the combustion engine, but I've never touched one myself. So from there, I became an accountant. I did a PhD in finance. I worked for about 40 of the 100 blue chip companies in the UK. I worked for the World Bank, the IMF. I've been around over 85 different countries. So you can see that from wanting to become an electrician at one time to then doing things that are totally different to what an electrician might be or might do, you can see that success is never defined right at the beginning. It's basically taking advantage of every opportunity that comes along, doing what you enjoy, and getting on with it. So Ahad, the other guest on this panel, I admire him for what he does. He passionately believes in helping others. He's a person of the people. I think grassroots, he's in touch with the people. He's out there helping. And I think in some cases, I admire him in what he does. And he's very successful in what he does because he doesn't do it for himself. He does it for others, for the benefit and well-being of others.
Yes.
So again, success means different things.
Thank you for that. If I can move over to Ahad, similarly, if you can tell our viewers a little bit about some of the experiences and whatever it is that you have encountered over the years, from the day you can remember, really, from, it could be from schooling to where you are now. Can you share with us some of the trips and falls, the failures that we are only too hesitant to mention sometimes, and yeah, I mean, and then we can elaborate on that with our next questions.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. As Dr. Sanawar said, success, I mean, personally for me, it means different things to different people, like Dr. Sanawar said. But for me, I think it's watching others succeed, which makes me happy. I think my journey itself, it started at a very, very young age. I mean, there's a lot to share. And I think I would like to share it because, someone can take something from me and maybe it'll help someone in some ways. But before I share my little journey, I'd like to say that I'm just a quarter on the show tonight. I've got my three other brothers who formed the Millennium Brothers. So I'm only a quarter on tonight. So four of us, we're known as the Millennium Brothers, and us four are equal to one. And this one, strength-wise, we're equal to 10. We try our best to help anyone in any way, whatever way we can help, we will do. And no, it's not always just about personal gain. I mean, seeing someone else achieve something makes us really happy. The journey for myself, when I started, I'll start with the primary school, to be honest. And I was very active at that time. I was into sports. I was a very, active person, but unfortunately, I was a victim to bullying at that time. So it was a difficult childhood growing up, from primary school to going to secondary school. And again, in secondary school, the bullying didn't stop. And one example would be lunch times. We used to have lunch in the canteen, and there's a group of people, young kids, who used to come over and take my food, and this happened every day. So to avoid all this, I changed to packed lunch. Again, same thing happened.
Yeah.
Again, to avoid that, I used to go out and go to the local shops and just to avoid all that. But doing that, even my pocket money, that used to get taken. So and all that was because of the food. It wasn't a nice experience, nice feeling.
No,
So throughout the years, as I carried on and carried on, I started working.
Sorry, Ahad. If I can come back to you, I've got my other guest who's joined us. If I can just briefly welcome him on board to everyone, and then I will come back to continue on that. I've got with me, thank you, Zain Ahmed, for giving your valuable time. It's just we had a little misfortune that a little bit of delay happened. But I hope everything was okay, and thank you for making that time. So I've got Zain Ahmed, who is one of our young entrepreneurs of the show today, and he has a lot of things behind him, which I actually feel very proud to even mention. That not only is he a Forex analyst, he's a software company director, he's a franchise owner, a franchise launcher, advertising specialist, online drop shipping. You'll have to explain that to us because I have no idea what that means. And into sales. So our young entrepreneur Zain has really, really amazed me. And I am hoping that today our viewers will be just as amazed, as well as our Professor Sanawar, who has a lot that he has behind him and is where he is today, and Ahad as well. So if we can all welcome Zain Ahmed on board. Welcome, Zain.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you guys?
Not too bad.
Yeah, I hope you're well.
Thank you, Zain. So what we will do is we will just go back to our other guests, and if Zain, if you can just hear what contributions they have to, and just feel free to interact with each other, gentlemen, and let's gain as much as we can out of this for ourselves, our viewers, and so forth. So so Ahad, if I can go back to you, if you can continue with your journey of the failures that brought you where you are today, and a lot of people hesitate too often to mention, thinking that oh no, I can't mention that. That's for so many different reasons, whether they're embarrassed or whether there's the self-esteem behind it that may get impacted. So I'm actually very grateful that you can mention your failures today, so that our viewers can take something back from it as well. So Ahad, if you can continue.
Yeah, thank you for that. Again, like I said, each person's story and journey is different, but everyone's always been through a lot. My journey, again, after the bullying side of things, I think that's helped me as a person to strengthen myself, to be strong, to be patient, which is what I've done throughout my childhood. So I was embarrassed, I was scared to tell my parents, thinking that they won't understand, or things like that. But I carried through, and I think that's what's made me stronger. While studying, as I was the eldest in my family. I've got a family of 8 siblings, 8 brothers and sisters, and my parents. As the eldest, I had the responsibility. I think that's the same with a lot of families. The eldest has always got the extra responsibility, which I'm happy to do, and it it helps me a lot. My parents, they're from Bangladesh, and they came my father came when he was small, and he used to work in different restaurants and factories, and then he went back home, got married, brought my mother over, and then I was born. And after that, my father's health, it's been on and off. He's had many health issues. So because of all the family problems or issues, I've had to, at a young age, start and have all the responsibility of working, of babysitting my brothers and sisters, of going out there studying as well, balancing everything at a young age. I think the experiences has helped me shape the way I am. I started working in a takeaway when I was 14 and while studying, and from that, I think I enjoyed the food side of things. I enjoyed watching people cook. I enjoyed talking, interacting with other people, which at that time I thought, no, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll carry on with my studies and maybe open up a restaurant, which my father has always dreamt of. So again, whilst working, I was in partnership. After 4 years, when I was 18, I entered into a partnership with the takeaway I was working at. But unfortunately, a lot of things happened and it didn't work out, and I had nowhere to go then. And it was a very hard time for us, for my family especially, struggling. But my mom, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be, standing here. She has been the pillar of my family. My father, with his on and off health problems, and then looking after my brothers and sisters. So I think the strength is in the unity. All of us joined together, and we kept going, kept going, kept going. And when I started my venture, Millennium Balti, this was 6 years ago. I think 6 years ago, at that time as well, my father, he suffered a brain tumor. He had to have an operation for his brain tumor. And at that time, the doctors, they told us, you might as well say your goodbyes. Say goodbyes. You don't, once he's had the operation, he might not be the same person, or there's a 50-50 chance of survival. So we were stuck in one room, me, my brother and sisters, my family, everyone responding, reacting in their own way. Some of us were not saying anything, some of us were crying, some of us walking out for a fresh air, some of us consoling each other, hugging each other. So that 6 hours was the most difficult times of our life.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we were together, which is what helped us get through that phase.
Yeah, if I can bring our Zain in on this, because what you're saying is, it's very, very deep, and a lot of us, whether we talk about it or whether we, mention it to someone close to us, there's some sort of a battle that we are all facing. Now. Zain, from what you have heard from Ahad at the moment, I mean, you've heard some of the struggles. Could you care to share with us quite a bit briefly on how it has been for you, with all of those things behind you, with being the Forex analyst to being a company director, how did all of that happen? And what battles, if I may ask, could you share with us that you had faced, in your journey of failure to reaching success as much as you can?
Okay. Well, I think with failure, there's a lot of different types of failure we all go through, and the journey of success is just pure. I would say there's 45% failure at the beginning. Where my failure started was when I was about, I would say, in high school. The moment I started high school, I wasn't the type to learn. I moved from multiple primary schools between Glasgow and the city, the capital, Edinburgh, in Scotland, and I just had a lot of moving around. So my friends just constantly kept changing, so it was quite hard to make friends. And then once I was in high school, I then tried to look for friends and create a new friend circle, and it was great. Things went well, but I got really distracted. Going from private school to public school, there wasn't a huge difference because I was blessed to go to a good public school. But again, there is that difference. There's thousands of more kids. I went from a school where there was only a few hundred people in the whole school to tens of thousands, which made a huge difference. So education wasn't my strong point. I failed a lot of my exams. I only passed one exam, and I was always told about you're going to fail in life, you're not going to do anything, and life was going that way when I was about 16.
How did that make you feel? How did all of that being said to you make you feel? You know, did you pause there, or you know, what happened? If you could share
At that age, when you have so many ideas and people with experience tell you they're not going to work or education is the only way forward, it is depending on your field, depending where you want to go. But I do believe that there are other aspects in life where you might not need education, or you can still make your life work without it. And it's just a shame for young people to get put down, and that's how I felt. I got put down. I tried to get a job. I tried to work for Honda as a car body repair specialist. I experienced a lot of racism there. Left. It wasn't anything with Honda's fault. It was just a member of staff. I then left, tried to work in mobile phone shops and stuff, and learn how to repair mobile phones. And I thought that was going to be the business for me. Until I then discovered Forex trading, 16. And I spent all my wages failing for the first 2 years. So my full salary for 2 years just lost. Failure in Forex. And I was like, right, I'm not going to make it anything.
Why did you choose Forex? What made you want to do that? You know, what I mean, at a tender age of what, 16?
Yeah. So I seen a lot of my uncle's friends and stuff. They were stockbrokers and stuff, and I was really inspired by stockbroking. The problem I found with stockbroking was that with stocks, there's a lot of reading required, a lot of company research required, and me coming from like not really liking to study and learn, I wasn't really too deep onto the stock market. Then I discovered the financial market, which is more mathematical based. Which I thought was mathematical based at the beginning. And that's where I went wrong. I thought, oh, we'll do technical analysis and we'll try different forms of things.
Yeah. Can I bring a professor into this? Professor Sanawar, you've heard Zain. You know, you've got numbers and accountancy in your background. Do you think Zain made a good decision? Whether it's a right decision is another question.
I think what Zain is doing is probably just CFD. Yeah, what Zain is probably doing is just CFD trading, some type of margins type of trading, which doesn't require much analysis. All it requires is a bit of a gamble more than anything else. More than 73% of everybody that dabbles in that type lose money. I've written against just that type of trading. Of course, some people make money. My immediate neighbor, a Pakistani gentleman, a gentleman that I like very much, showed me that he had made £300,000 over a period of 2 months. You know, it was too good to be true. He gave up a lot of his business, a lot of his work, and he kept on devoting, opening positions, doing this, doing that. And I said to him, "You're crazy, because by the time you close these positions, they may not be the same as you have them now." He eventually left 4 months later, 4 months of his trading life, having lost nearly £750,000. He took out billions of dollars worth of positions in different currencies, not really knowing that some of these currencies work against each other. So again, you know, people are out there to give you advice on how to make quick money. There is no such thing as making quick money. It's hard work, it's hard graft. All of the businesses that I have a substantive element to it, have a substantive platform within which I operate. Of course, there are those, they can bet on a horse and it comes in and they win and they say, I'm an expert on this. But it's like anything else, CFD margin trading is based on, somebody making decision Y, other person makes decision X, and one of them are going to be right. It's almost like a 50-50 chance. Depends on what you do and how you do it. So, but what I admire about both Zain and Ahad is that at an early age, they faced bullying, they faced failure in terms of academic success, yet they carried on building on that, and building a strong platform, which probably they have now going forward. So that is what, I wasn't born in this country. I'm sure Zain and Ahad were probably both born here. So the tragedies that I went through in my life was in terms of Bangladesh independence. I was about 4 or 5 years of age at that time. I saw a lot of people die during that independence war. I came to this country at the age of 9 when the National Front were at its height. I lived in a town called Kings Lynn in Norfolk, all white. So we went through challenges like Ahad did, like Zain did. But again, as I've said, it's what we make of it. The best way to succeed in life is to act on the advice that we give others. Everyone, all of us here are very good at giving advice. It's us following that advice that makes us successful. And I'm glad that both Zain and Ahad have learned from their traumatic backgrounds and built something positive from it. And that's great.
Yeah, what I wanted to add on to that as well, I'd like to point that to a professor firstly, is can failures distort one's perception of their actual abilities? Because failures, they don't just come once, do they? Failures, are they here today and gone tomorrow? So, how does it distort, or does it distort one's perceptions of, what they're actually capable of or what their abilities are? If I can think your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that type of question, because I get asked that sort of question a lot of times. Is failure the end of all perseverance? No, failure is part of success. When you eat a meal, you might have 7, 8 items on your plate. You may like 4 of them, 3 of them you may not like. You just put it to one side and move on. So what's wrong with failure? That's part and parcel of what motivates us to persevere. It's not giving up. That is the key. Not saying, I'm just going to sit in my room and watch TV all day. It's to go about and carry on doing things that you enjoy, meeting people, networking. And, when you meet...
But what if their self-esteem is so low and they just can't do it, or they're finding it difficult, or for whatever reason, something is coming as an obstacle, and it's probably easier for some than others. So a small thing for you is probably the biggest burden on the next person sitting next to you. How do we help that situation?
Well, when you're demotivated, when you're stressed, when you are depressed, each of those things are to do with your own mind. The best way of getting out of that isn't to sit by yourself, isn't to brood in the TV room or the bedroom, is to go out and meet people like Zain, meet people like Ahad, and have a good laugh with them, have a chat with them, let out.
We're coming to meet you, Zain and Ahad.
You're welcome anytime.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
I've been to Millennium Balti, and the food that they do and the love and affection with which they serve it. We went and we were treated like VIPs. We didn't deserve it, but that made us feel at home.
You are VIP. Every single person that comes through the door are VIPs. You're all VIPs, and it makes
we felt special, and
it's nothing special that we did. Honestly, this is how to show you our love. This is what we enjoy.
Secret of your success. That is it. It's sort of endearing to people. It's interacting and getting those people to like you at that level. And I think that's secret behind your success, definitely.
Yeah.
What about you,
Just
Zain?
so, yeah, just for Zain's information, Ahad here next to you, he's also an owner of Millennium Balti. He's from Leamington Spa. So they do, I keep seeing these posts of pictures of just sizzling grilled chops and, you know, delicious food. And exactly, yeah. So I think this whole team is coming to Millennium Balti soon, I think, you know. But as Professor, yeah, as the professor just said, you know, VIP treatment, but then as Ahad said, everyone who walks through that door is a VIP. So it's, you know, your success really is by that customer saying to you, you know, how top class your service was, and, you know, hopefully the food was great too, you know, to give the chef that commendability. But yeah, so I mean, Zain, do you think failure is the greatest teacher?
100%, because like Professor said, there are 73% of people do fail in the forex markets, and I tell everybody that who does start. It's actually a higher failure rate now. It's actually up to 90% because the market had such a big boom over the last 2 years. The reason for the failure is because people do come in and look at this like a gamble. And that is a problem. It's like going into a business and investing £100,000, not knowing what you're doing and not doing the research. And that was where I went wrong for my first 2 years in the forex markets. I was just constantly trying to make it work, gambling, not coming up with a strategy. And it took 4.5 years to come up with the strategy with a lot of practice. Now, alhamdulillah, with a team of over 14 people that just work for me in the fund. Even then, just to execute one trade, we go through 14 people, and that is now. I would say to anybody watching this, if you do ever think about the forex markets, don't think of it as a gamble. You have to think of it as a real business. That's the problem. People think about opening an Amazon shop. Oh, I can just flog it and go for it. I can just start drop shipping. Let's just go for it. And the problem is people just think it's just so easy to make money in these markets. It's not. It's very, very difficult. Only 3% of people in the forex market across the world. Now, bear in mind, the forex market is a market that does over 5 trillion per day. So it's going to have you're going to see more people fail, but you're going to see a lot more people pass.
Well, that sounds scary to me, to be honest with you. It's
I wouldn't gamble there. I wouldn't take a risk like that, honestly.
Maybe it's not for everyone, you know, obviously, you know.
It's a big risk, I think. And with anything, I mean, you have to be willing to take the risk, but to what extent? What risk are you willing to take? What are you willing to sacrifice? You know, you have to, I think, weigh the pros and cons and everything and see, you know, yes, if I'm successful, this is, you know, what will happen. But if I'm not, this is what I'm going to lose, you know. So are you ready to lose that, if it doesn't be successful, you know? So it's a big risk, a big gamble. And, you know, not everyone has the courage to, you know, a gamble like that. I mean, one example for myself, Millennium, everyone advised me against taking up Millennium Balti, because at that time, 6 years ago, it was, you know, going downhill from the previous owner, everything, hygiene rating, customer base, you know, it was a dead business. But I took the risk on, you know, knowing that, you know, what I can lose, you know, if it doesn't work. But I still went ahead, and the first couple of years was very hard, especially the first year. I mean, I was in heavy debt, you know, borrowed a lot of money from people on loans. It was a big risk I took. And during that time, the first year itself, like I said, my father's health with his tumor, then he suffered a major stroke, which has left him paralyzed. So all that happened during the first year itself. And, you know, at that time, coming to your question about failures, at that time, you know, yes, I was depressed, you know, I was sad. I didn't know what to do. You know, I used to shut myself in one room and think, what shall I do? You know, how can I get out of this. I'm going deeper and deeper into a hole. But I think what gave me the strength, it's my family. I mean, me going out, talking to people like Dr. Sanawar said, there have been a lot of positive people in my life who has said, no, you can't just sit at home and sulk. You need to get out and make it work. Think, what are you doing wrong, or why is this not working? So the first year I tried, different things, like different offers, for discounts, everything. It's a heavy competition area, Leamington Spa, and opposite us there's another restaurant which is twice the size of Millennium Balti, and every single offer that I used to have on at that time, they used to lower the price and do exactly the same offer. And then the other restaurant on the other side, he used to do a lower. So it's just, everyone was damaging their own businesses. So instead, I thought, no, I'm going to change my strategy, and I'm going to change. I'm going to do, not copy others, not look at what everyone else is doing, but I'll do and give quality food and try and look after everyone. So I increased my prices. I went the other way. I increased prices and everything. We provided quality food, and it worked. And it got us, back in the running again.
Well, what I want to ask our professor here, after hearing that, is it not likely that from failures that we get to assess our skills, intelligence, capabilities, probably a bit more incorrectly, rather, and see them as significantly like a weaker than they actually are? Can you share some thoughts on that?
I think, Sabia, I always say to people, don't compare your life with others. What others do well, good luck to them. Be your own person. I mean, there's no comparison between the sun and the moon. Each of them shine when their time is up. Likewise, each of you, like what Zain is doing, like what Ahad has done, each of them in their respective fields, I'm now towards my retirement. I've done a lot, not only in the UK, in Europe and other parts of the world, and I've enjoyed what I've done. But if somebody wants to follow what I've done and say, well, he's successful, I want to do exactly what he does, well, they won't enjoy it, because I did things that I enjoyed at the time and the opportunity that came my way. So each time we copy someone, we're not doing ourselves justice. We will shine in our own time, and we need to find those opportunities and grasp hold of it. Like what Zain has done. A lot of people do use margin trading as a form of gambling, whereas he's doing it much more diligently. He's got a team of 14 people working for him, which means that there is some science behind what he does. It's not just a 50-50 gamble. Remember, forex trading is 5 trillion in size. There's always a winner, there's always a loser. There's back-to-back deals. 100%. So in forex trading, there is no losers. Every loser, there is a winner. There is an equilibrium there. So likewise, I've done this. My PhD is in finance, so I know about foreign currency. I've done so much work in that area. But again, if somebody says, look, Zain has done it, why can't I do it? Well, don't follow what Zain does. Do what you are good at. Do what you're passionate at. Do what you enjoy, and you will be successful. So don't chase the money. Do what you enjoy and let the money chase you. That's my best advice.
It sounds like it should be made up of lots of little adventures that you
enjoy.
Is. Life and you're passionate about, and don't make it like a one long journey.
It's like a roller coaster. You'll get ups and downs, but you'll have the adrenaline as well, at the time when you're coming down or something, or going up, so there will be ups and downs, but you have to deal with it. You have to keep going. There will always be obstacles, whether it's in the form of, jealousy, or, people bullying or throwing obstacles at you, or your own failures. You might have made a mistake, but everything that happens, we can always learn from it, and that can change you as a person, I think.
I think, Zain, what part of Scotland are you from?
I'm from Glasgow.
See, Glasgow, I've been there recently. I don't know whether you know a guy called Fazlu in Glasgow, but the Pakistani community in Glasgow have really, really been successful within that town. They control a lot of the big stores, a lot of the big shops, a lot of the big trading areas. And some of the houses these guys living in Glasgow, although we don't realize it from England, they control a lot of what goes on. So again, those guys that went to Glasgow, they probably didn't understand what was there. It was very rough. Certain areas are still very rough. But now Glasgow has changed, and the landscape of that change is being benefited by the immigrant population that have settled there. Many more Pakistanis than Bangladeshis, quite a few Indians. And again, Zain, I'm sure you'd agree, each of those people have taken advantage of the hard times, taken advantage of being in the right spots during the rough days, and now it's starting to become better. And bingo, you've hit jackpot.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say? Is it fair to say? I mean, I'll say this to Zain, that success gets handed to you, or is it when I say that, I mean, when some people say, well, this was my past few generations business and now I am running it. Could we look at it in that way? I mean, is that the success that's handed to us, or does it need achieving? So maybe Zain can tackle that one.
I would say no matter what, success needs achieving, whether it's handed to you or not, whether your father owns $1 billion company or not. I would definitely say nobody, let's say, for example, I'm 25 years old. I cannot handle a $1 billion company. If it came to me, I'd probably collapse after a couple of years. I don't have the life experience to run $1 billion company yet. So success being handed to someone, I don't think so. I think success is 100% achieved, earned, and it's not something that can just be handed. It can be handed, and it can also get thrown away really quick, just like lottery winners. I think the stats on lottery winners is like 92 or 93% of lottery winners just end up losing like the majority of their money, without the great investments. And it's only 8% that actually turn that money into good or make good of it. So yeah, I would definitely say success is not achieved. I've got a question.
What about sorry, what about it? Sorry, go on, Zain. Carry on.
I've got a question for everybody. It was, Doctor, you were mentioning about what was it? It was about people's. It's lost my mind. Go on, I'll come back.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, so just to elaborate on what we were talking about, is it who we know, or is it what we know that could be the failure and success? I'll take that towards our Professor Sanawar's direction.
Can I just say, those people that say they're new or they're innovative, Apple, we're the newest on the block, that's not true. Everybody is copying everybody else. Apple, when they came on the scene, Samsung had some advances that Apple didn't have. They borrowed some of that. They licensed some of that technology and they used it in their Apple phone. A lot of the technology that Apple used were already in existence before they came into being. It's just that they packaged it in a way which became attractive to people. So nothing we do in life, nothing that I have done in my life has been original. It's just that I've been good at taking what's out there and packaging it in a way which makes it more attractive to people. And I'm sure Ahad and Zain would agree with me that nothing that they have done is totally new. It's already out there. And I say to people, you work for somebody, you get X amount an hour. But that person employing you is getting many times more per hour from your employment. So recently we employed a chief executive for one of my businesses at £110,000 year salary. A lot of people say that's a lot of money to pay. That's because what he brings into play are skills that will make 10 times returns compared to what we will pay him. And already within 18 months, he's done that. So you employ people that are better than yourself. That's the way of success.
Professor, Zain, but not everyone's doing that. Not everyone
should be doing that.
Yeah,
you see, we can do our taxi.
They want to pay as low as they can to get as much as they can. That's the reality.
That's not true. the best businesses do pay well, attract the best people. I'm sure Zain, for example, he's got 14 people employed under him. I'm sure he's not paying the basic wage because otherwise they won't stay. I mean, if he's making money out of them, he's paying them for the work and effort and skills that they bring in. The best people that he probably employs are probably recognized. Every customer will say, that member of staff, we really enjoy being served by. Because that member of staff brings out, an element of upliftment when you go out. When you go out for a meal, it's an uplifting experience. And if you can't bring that out, then what do we do? What do we achieve? So nothing in life is secret. There is no secret behind success. It's just hard work and persistence, just getting on with it and not giving up.
Can I just add to that? And another thing I think is adapting to the situation, which any situation at any time, we have to adapt to it. You have to be willing to take and make the change for any situation in order to improve. And I think you should be able to take criticism and improve oneself. There's always room for improvement. Failure, success, they're all interlinked. You have to fail, to succeed. That will make you a stronger person. And what is success? Like Dr. Sanawar said at the start, success can mean different things to different people. Is it the fame? Some people are after fame. Some people are after the fortune. Some people, it could be, graduating, education. Some people, it could be the family. It's different things to different people. So how can we define success? That's my question. How do we define success?
Yes. Because again, at the end of the day, success means different things to different people, which comes to my point that I wanted to find out from you all is achievement something that is measurable? And, is it something that we reach or attain, like all of our goals, and make it as part of our success? And to get that achievement, what sort of failures can we anticipate to go through? And bearing in mind, So, Professor,
Sabia,
maybe
you've got this word failure very well embedded in your mind. You've got to get rid of that word. It doesn't help. There is no such thing as failure. Yes, you may not get the result you want.
There is. With that, if you haven't got failure, you haven't lived. I don't know. I mean, Zain.
Okay, here's a question. If you say fail at something, did you learn from it? So
yes, you always do. I think you always do.
So you have to have that failure to get something. So we can't ignore that failure, can we?
You may not have accomplished the task or completed the mission as such, but you never failed. You're not a failure. You may have failed part of your missions to the end of the
world. From that, word failure, you've learned something, for failing. So is it a failure if you're learning something and if that some kind of good has come out from the failure,
Yeah. So I mean, there are viewers out there, someone in the corner of the globe somewhere who is sitting there or standing there somewhere, thinking, anything that they've done or have done has been a failure. Now, how do we help them come out of that? And that is why my mind is embedded in the way it is. Professor, you've got some amazing things you are actually putting forward. But going back, to this achievement that I was talking about, is it measurable?
Sabia, you must take personal responsibility. You can't change the circumstance. The seasons or the wind will change by itself, but you can't bring about those change. So one of the things that, I say to all of you, and again, as I've said, I'm now more retired from active business than I used to be, and I'm looking to enjoy that retirement, mainly in inspiring others to do
until
things.
We come and give you grief, Professor.
No, I mean, there's no grief. It's a pleasure to speak. But one
I
thing
mean,
we've
it
got to
seems
get
like
clear.
Doctor is always enjoying himself, though. The thing is, every
Yes.
time
Yeah.
we see, I mean, it puts a smile on our faces. It inspires us, honestly. I mean, every Facebook post or video, it's
Definitely.
always positive.
Yeah.
It's always positive, which,
Yes.
it makes us, even if we are down or sad or upset, watching happy, inspiring people like Doctor, it makes us change. It makes our mindset change as well. So I think, thank you
Mm.
for inspiring us, Dr. Sanawar. It's honestly, it means a
There you
lot
go.
that
You're on the
you do
spot
this.
now.
No, I think as Ahad has said, I'm sure Zain will agree. You know, success is not a destination; it's a journey, rather
Yeah.
like life. You know, when I went on my journey to see Ben Nevis, we went through Glasgow. Again, these are things that are memorable. Once you go down that road towards Ben Nevis, you see some amazing scenery, some still waters that are still framed in my mind. Now, unless you've been there, you've never experienced it. You can't
Yeah.
explain it. So I've been through failure, and as I've said, I don't take failure as a disappointment. What I do is I take it as an experience. I learn from it. And again, as I've said, I don't need to, succeed at everything in order to have an enjoyable life. If
Mhm.
I have good people that I surround myself with, avoid toxic people, do great things in the sense of, just go for a walk to the park, kick a football, do those basic things in life, which we often tend to forget.
Well,
And we
they
go
are the
after
best things, aren't
Lamborghinis.
they? They are
They
the
are, they
best
are.
things. And they
Lamborghini
are, yeah.
are not, I don't think Lamborghini is a measure of success. I think is knowing a good friend that you can reach out to and have a chat with is more of a success than having, material things.
Yes. And having a
Yeah.
good meal at Millennium Balti, the sizzling
Yeah.
chops.
I had a question for everybody, and I remember it now. Doctor was discussing about passion, and this is something that's always been on my mind as a young guy, and even to this day, I'm passionate about many things. So I try and dabble my fingers after from the fund. I try to then dabble into different businesses. But what I've noticed with a lot of young people, over the last couple of years of meeting people, and I've noticed is that we have this question when you say find your passion, and then you turn around and they look at you, I don't know my passion. Would you agree that it is more about what you are? There's two things: you can either be passionate about something or really, really good at something. But then when somebody is really good at that thing, let's say they don't like it, their heart's not in it. Would you say tell that person to run with that thing that they're good at and make their millions or whatever they want to make from it, or have their measure of success? Or would you say continue waiting for your passion? What's everyone's opinion on that?
Oh, there you go, gentlemen.
A good friend of mine from Peterborough was passionate about representing the people. So he wanted to become a councillor. He wanted to become a county councillor. He wanted to become an MP because he loved working with people, listening to what their problems were, trying to help out, go and stand with them on a rainy day in order to sort out their housing benefits or whatever. And he was passionate about doing that. It didn't matter whether he was earning money as a result, but he was passionate about providing that level of help. And again, whenever I see him, a shiver goes down my spine in that that person has helped more people than I could ever imagine. So success to different people mean different things. And you can be passionate about things without having the same outcomes. For some people, wealth may be an outcome. Some people, fame may be an outcome. So those are different outcomes for different people. For me, it's been less about money. I'm not an ostentatious person. The things I do, I mix with everyone. I like everyone. And it's the people that motivate me, not the money or the amount that I have in my bank account. So I don't think anybody's ever seen me as being, flirtatious with my money or flirtatious with my wealth or whatever. I enjoy, and if I like seeing something, I promote it. I went to Santorini, a great area, great philosophers, Plato, Socrates were sitting there, looking out into the same oceans, thinking about life, thinking about philosophy, thinking about God and existence, going back 5,000 years. I, being, in that same location, looking out into the same sea, felt a measure of humility. That sort of thing is more important to me than having a bank balance that others can, read as a telephone number. So
Yeah.
I think,
But
again,
yes,
Ahad, I really
Professor,
like because he's passionate about his.
Oh, sorry, Professor, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah,
can. I'm
we
just
had
saying that Ahad, for example, he's like that counselor. He's more passionate about helping people. And now I understand the context. That bullying that took place early on in his age, the family tragedies that he suffered, has made him more passionate about helping people out. Whereas Zain, for example, his failure at school, academically not being able to grasp and get onto things, meant that he wanted to try out his own business. And the businesses that he runs now is more successful as a result. So each of us have different backgrounds that we come from. Is taking advantage of the future. It's not important where we come from,
isn't it? Yeah, it's the determinations in that passion. And what it sounds like is there is no failure, and there's only failure if you stop trying rather. So you don't stop trying for it to, move on. Yeah, so Ahad, can you say something on that?
Yeah, I think being passionate is important. You have to be passionate about what you do. You have to enjoy what you do. You have to feel content or happy in what you're doing. Because if you're not happy, no amount of money or anything else, will, change that feeling. You have to be happy in what you do. As Zain said, is passionate important, or if you're good at something, do you follow that? If you're in a position, if you're able to incorporate that or add, get that into something that you enjoy, then go ahead. But you have to enjoy what you do. You have to be happy in what you do. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much for that. Is there anything else anyone would like to add on? We are coming to the end of our show shortly. Anything else you would like to mention that we may have, or we could, bring to the awareness for our viewers as well? Professor?
I have one
Zain?
more question. One more
Go on,
question.
Zain. Yes.
This is for Professor and Ahad as well, and you, SABIA. Everybody, actually, all the viewers, actually more of a viewer question, right? This is a very deep question. I've really been thinking about it, and I ask everybody I meet. Now, although I'm not from an educated background, and it's very hard for people to become successful without an education, it's true. Education makes it easier. But here's a question. And it recently got me thinking. I've looked up to speakers like Eric Thomas in this as well, where he went out and started pursuing his degree at the age of 30. So there's my question. What would you say become successful financially or wherever you want to be in life with your family? So you've got a lot of stress, anxiety, deal with all your successes before going into university? Or would you say take on the pressure of university at a young age and try and come out of university? This is for more of the youngsters, because I'm now 25 and I'm taking into consideration going into university just to kind of prove my point that I can do it for my own self-being, that I can achieve anything. But I decided to do it after having all the financial stress, all the life stress and everything out the way now that I can focus. But there are people out there who feel that they have to go to university first and they have to stick by it at a young age. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think you can go to university at any age, or do you think get it over and done with at a young age?
Who wants to go first?
Well, that could be a program in itself, couldn't it? I have 4 children. 2 of them went to university, 2 of them didn't. And all 4 of them are, alhamdulillah, healthy and successful. So going to university isn't for everyone. It shouldn't be for everyone. You should do things that you enjoy, and that may be less academic than for some than others. But what I've noticed in life, and I've observed billionaires to millionaires to the common man, is that successful people always have 2 things on their lips. silence, and a smile. A smile to solve a problem, and a silence to avoid that problem. A lot of times we talk not knowing what we talk about, and we get ourselves deeper into trouble as a result. What I say to Ahad, and again, he's one of my mentors, believe it or not, in that, you know, he's outnumbered a lot of times. I have evidenced some of the bullying that he has had to face. I have supported him on many occasions, but he has persevered. Like Rabindranath Tagore, one of our great literates of Bangladesh, a Nobel Prize winner, said, "Jodi tor dak shune keu na ashe tobe ekla cholo re." So if somebody doesn't listen to
Can you
don't worry about being outnumbered. Eagles fly by themselves, pigeons club together. So Ahad, always be an eagle. Carry on the good work. Don't worry about what the pigeons might be saying, because that's what they will be. And Zain, don't only be an entrepreneur of Scotland, be the entrepreneur of Great Britain and bring some of that wisdom to our new, to be 25 again, I would give millions. I'm no longer that age, but again, 25 seems, thousands of years ago. And Sabia, thank you very much for inviting all of us to this show. I think it's been very interesting. Obviously, in all of our lives, we have personal tragedies, personal difficulties, as well as triumphs. And hopefully, triumphs will overall outnumber the difficulties that we face. So carry on the good work, because I think this sort of thing does inspire people, brings them out of their slumber, brings them out of their depression, and gets them to do great things.
Definitely, definitely. I would like to add on to what Zain wanted to ask us about, is education, should you do it before or after? Should you just continue, like you've done your GCSEs and then you do your A-levels and then you go to graduate? Does it have to be in that order? No, not necessarily. You will know when it's right for you. If you have that passion, you can pause wherever, obviously after the compulsory education that this country, has in its system. But if you want to pursue something, there's nothing stopping you if your passion and determination is there, that, okay, I'd like to go and continue with my studies because I'd like to develop myself in this area, which I'm passionate about and I want to do. I may have had the failures in the years of my teenage years, but for me, I feel this is the right time and there is no age limit. You go to colleges, even back in the 90s, when, I used to, do part-time sort of like just training in the classroom. There were mature students. They were 50 plus. So you're 16, they're 50 plus. There's no age limit. So people are coming back to study for whatever reason, and whatever battle they may have had, in that time, that is their own, and they will know that. And as Professor said, don't let people dictate or tell you or even follow the people's success, because that may not be the right way for you. And that's a valuable thing that I think we've all, learned. And I do hope our viewers will take some of that on board as well, that success is not given, it's achieved, which comes to the main core of our topic today. And it's down to us as individuals, the surroundings, where we put ourselves. And I think that passion and determination is the big one in it. Ahad, any last few things you want to say before?
What I want to say is, you shouldn't have to, I think, prove anything to anyone other than do something that makes yourself happy. Like you said, what Jane said about the university or studying, there is no age. You do what you want to do when it's time for you, when you're ready. You don't have to follow others. There is no set rule to say you have to do it now or you can't do it later. So I think do something which you're passionate about, but with something which makes you happy as a person. Not, oh, am I living up to that person's expectations? Everyone is running their own races. There's no need to follow anyone or do anything like that. So just be yourself, be happy in what you do, and enjoy what you do. And if you're in a position to help someone, then help them. And by help, that it's not just financial or monetary help. Help could be just sitting next to someone and just without saying anything. Help could be helping someone with some food. Help could be helping someone achieve their goals, or even just talking or spending time with someone. If you're in a position to help someone, just help them in any way you can. And which this is what myself and my brothers, we try our best to do. It's not just limited to our industry, restaurant or related. We've helped in feed the homeless. We've helped with the beauty contest. We've helped local football team. It's a wide variety. We try our best. So thank you
thank
for
you.
having us on the show. And it's been a learning curve for all of us. I think we can all take and learn from each other. I mean, that's what we need to do.
Thank you. Anything last few words from you, Zain, before we wrap up?
No. Inshallah, we can have another discussion soon.
You look too chilled there, right, Professor? Look at him. You've chilled him out totally.
Well, I'm now retired, so I can enjoy doing nothing. But guys,
Okay.
stay safe. We're going through some difficult times. We don't have the leadership that we deserve. Unfortunately, we have this deficit of leadership in the UK and rest of the world at the moment. Hopefully, Allah will give us better leaders in the future. But stay well and start to lead.
Yes,
Take
definitely.
Care.
Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming on my show. Thank you there. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've listened to a lot of expertise there, and I do hope that there are various things that you all can take on board, and have a little bit of thinking. If you need to. Is success defined by who you are and the person you aspire to be? Do you define success in life by the goals you accomplish and how you accomplish them? To truly succeed, it takes one to accomplish the goals with integrity. Shortcutting a goal just to complete it, it's almost the same as failing. And true success does require the ability to feel empathy, and also to realize that other people's feelings and dreams are just as important as ours, and we cannot succeed without them. So stay positive, as hope and optimism are essential components, just as passion and determination. Stay blessed and stay safe, and thank you for joining me. Thank you.